welcome back to my Creative Chronic Life, and today I am back with a 2026 reading journal flip through / chat through update. This has been very much long awaited for myself. Now, if you've been following my channel for a while, you know that I purchased this Archer & Olive journal, I think December 2024. It arrived a little late. In January, by the time I started to figure out a theme, collect the item, purchase some bits, it ended up being that it was a couple of months later that I decided to kind of get stuck in. I then did the part 1 and 2 of creating the journal, but I never finished it. So I thought, rather than waste a beautiful journal, why not just continue on and just change some of the bits for 2026? And that's exactly what I've done. I mean, you can probably see it's kind of already so chunky here already. So I'll just try and take this out. I think moving forward, I'm probably just going to not have to put it in this anymore. So this was the journal. So this is my journal. It is the B5 Archer & Olive journal. I can't remember the theme of it, but if I do, I'll write it on the screen later once I go back to editing. So what I decided that I wanted to do was finish the rest of the journal. I did it off camera. I just changed some bits from 25 to 26. There is some repetitive items in here because when I then decided to design some bits on my iPad, I multiplied some items. It's fine, it will still get used. So this is my official 2026 reading journal. It's quite chunky already. Let's just move this to the side. Okay, so you start off with this beautiful name cover. And if you know Archer & Olive books, they always have a name page here, but I decided that I wanted to just cover it up because as journals go, and as pretty much any journal goes, it's a little bit scary starting a journal, and I always seem to kind of mess up on the first page. So I did this off camera, and I decided what I wanted to do was just create this is beautiful and gold, so I wanted to kind of match the theme and just move it forward. And this entire reading journal is a secret garden reading journal, so that's the theme. So I decorated everything that you see here. I've printed out, I've either purchased or designed myself or in some form of way. Most of the kind of artwork I picked up from Etsy, and then everything else I kind of decorated and did myself. These I did with my own die cutter. I decorated these and then went over with them gold. So these little outlines are from Hobbycraft. Pretty much everything I tried to use what I already had in terms of artwork, and then there's some pieces you'll see that I did purchase, and I'll share that along the way. But I think it's stunning and just quite simple. Just nameplate at the front, and then of course I wanted to leave an index page just in case this became a book that I needed to take into another year. I don't think that's going to be the case now, but it might be nice just to be able to kind of sift through and find page whatever. I haven't started numbering them yet, but I think I might once I get going. Then this is my double page spread, and this originally said 2025. I don't know whether you can see how I changed the 6 a little. I no longer have this font, or I can't find it. And I thought to myself, hang on a minute, how can I make it so that I can adjust the 5 to the 6? So I had some leftover 2025s. So I just cut some pieces, and you can barely tell, I don't think, anyway. I mean, the 6 doesn't look very circular, but to me, it's fine. And again, this pretty much gives the layout and the theme of the entire book. And I just think it's absolutely gorgeous. Even though I just decorated and designed this in, I think, maybe April time, something like that, or maybe it was a bit earlier or a bit later. It's gorgeous. I actually have some fresh flowers here, which gives it such a lovely touch as well, because texture wise it is really, really nice sensory to touch as well. This is what I was talking about that I purchased extra, and these are the London Gifties sticker tape, PET tape. So that was a nice addition. And then we have first off we have a ratings page, which again is the same kind of secret garden bookish theme, and I love it. I didn't know what type of ratings I wanted to do, so I just stuck to it being very simple. If you know that 2024 was the first time I actually was purchased a D-Stash Kindle, so I fell back in love with reading. Physical reading, like physical books, are a no-go for me with my hands and issue and problems. So with that, I started really enjoying reading. So I didn't want to focus so much on how many books or, you know, etc., forcing myself. I just wanted to read. So making sure that 2025 was something very simple, even though there's so many different ways you can rate books. And I think for 2026, I am going to still do that. So we have 1 star is zero substance, difficult to finish, or DNF'd. 2 stars is poorly written, disappointing, kept putting it down. 3 stars is satisfactory and met overall expectations. Not one I'll most likely remember. And then 4 stars is surpassed expectations, loved it, would highly recommend. And 5 stars is top tier, book hangover, I need more, I could have put the book down. So I think that's still going to stand with me for 2026. I will share with you what the changes I made, just in case if you have a reading journal that you think that you set up but you can't use for 2026, you can. You know, in the overall page, you won't be able to tell if something was changed, because, you know, whatever journal you have or book or something, you can always use, like, take a page out the back and just, you know, cut a little piece off. And this is next, the yearly goals. It says read a minimum of 2 books a month, make use of subscriptions, i.e. Kindle Unlimited. And then number 2 is read 30 minutes before bed each day, or a minimum of ×2 per week, only Kindle books at bedtime. And then number 3 is remember you love to read at home, on the go, in the car, at the park. The possibilities are endless. And then there's a little quote here that says, a book is a gift you can open again and again. And I still stand by that this year. That of course is sometimes I've missed some days for last year, but this is now we're talking about 2026. It is something I did decorate in 2025, and I just added a little bit of Tipp-Ex and covered it over with the 6. Again, in the grand scheme of things, I can't imagine it being a big deal. I mean, looking now on the screen, it's not as visible, and again, it doesn't matter. So this is year in pixels. I will be doing like either a separate video, or we'll do one at the end of this video where I will fill in the different colors and we can kind of work from there. And then this page is a 50 book challenge. Now, I set my goal for 25 last year and I managed to hit 42 or 43. This year it's at 60. So of course, if I finish the book challenge quite early, I can always pop in another page at the end. And again, I like how I've decorated everything. I think it's timeless. I don't think this will matter whether you use it this year, 5 years down the line. And that's what I really like about this kind of secret garden theme. Next, we have 12 books in 2026 challenge. We then just have one of them generic kind of book trackers, and I think I made this on Canva, can't quite recall now, possibly. And again, very sturdy. I love how large these pages are. Now, this is meant to be my books master list of all the books I own, physical or, you know, ebooks, whatever they are, even audiobooks. I started writing them out and like printing them out and sticking them on, and then I kind of just gave up because I was like, oh, I'll get to it, and I haven't. So that's something that I will continue to do. I've printed out a lot of the books that I own already, so it's not a matter of taking the time out to find the covers or print, it's just sticking them down. So we can do that. So we have some favorites: Fourth Wing, Iron Flame, Akata, Things We Never Got Over, Pretend You're Mine, Reminders of Him. A lot of these books I haven't read, and some of them I have. and like these Little Women ones, obviously I've read as a child, Hotel Chocolat, but again they're in my collection and I'm just going to keep them. There's some books that I am thinking about maybe unhauling, i.e. like The Honeymooner. I've not read it. Book Lovers, again, not read that, or did I read it? I can't remember now. So I'm not going to focus too much on what I haven't read. I'm just going to focus on getting all the master list down and then take it from there. So that's another page as well. I'm going to probably look like I will run out, because these is just all the books I own, and since that point I've purchased more. But if that's the case, I'm not going to be too worried about it, because I can always add at the back of the book and work backwards as such. And then this was meant to be books read in 2025, and instead I'm just going to turn it to my favourite books in 2025. I will probably just remove Broken Bonds. I did read it, but I don't think I enjoyed it that much. I did enjoy the rest of these books. A Court of Thorns and Roses, if you've read it, you know. Again, it's something that I decided to read audiobook as well, which made me read the book faster, but it took me forever. I've had this book for years now. So I think I will change this to my favourites of 2025, so that I don't have to waste kind of like a double page spread. And then we have a second empty page, which again, I think what I will do is either, if I run out of space from the book's master list, I will then use this page here. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't mind the fact that it's such a large book, but some of these pages are just so odd. Like, even no matter how much I try, it's really quite frustrating, but it is what it is. And again, I've decorated them. All the PET tapes are from London Gifties. I picked them up in a D-stash. A friend online on Facebook, she sells like strips of them, so I purchased them because I knew that these would come in handy. And then this is my pretty much my TBR, so it's my maybe, and then it says next book list. I didn't want to call it a TBR back then, and it's fine. So this is all the books that I might want to read, i.e. let's say if I decide, okay, I'm in January now, what do I want to read? I started off with Bloodwing Academy, read book 1 and 2, perfect. What do I want to read now? Then let's say I want to read, I don't know, Onyx Storm, I will add that here. But again, it doesn't make sense in like the monthly sections, so I'm not sure if I will just change it to books I want to read in 2026, i.e. just put the covers down and like see if I get to them or not. So there's 2 pages there, and again decorated, really quite nice. I love how it turned out. And then this was a 2025 anticipated reads, but instead I've turned it to 2026 anticipated reads. And anticipated is the ones I'm most looking forward to, and or the books that are going to be released in 2026 that are on my radar. But this unfortunately is a double spread because I've done it further down the line, so I'm not sure if I want to, these stickers, even though I've had them down for quite a while, I can gently peel them up. So again, I could just put them down as 2026 reads or change this to something else. I'm not sure now. And then books bought, so any kind of, whether it's physical, audio books, anything like that. And again, a double page spread. And again, so this is meant to be 2026 book releases. So this is where kind of the overlap happens, where 2026 anticipated, but also book releases. So is this the ones I'm looking forward to versus the ones that are being released? Again, I'm not quite sure. Don't think I was quite thinking at the time when I set this up. Book recommendations, so any recommendations I've received. I do want to start from 2026, but I got some good ones in 2025, so I'll just keep adding them to a kind of master list. Now, this book series tracker, I wanted it to be where I would track all my series, but I didn't leave myself enough pages. So I've later on in the book, you'll see that I've kind of done this extra space. So again, kind of like, I don't want to say a waste, but at the time it was fine. So now again, I'm not too sure, but again, it's something that I can use. I have a simple kind of tracker to books read, which I know I already did a kind of 2026 pixel tracker, but this is just basic books, just to figure out how many are in January, February, March, etc. And then this coinciding will be how many books I've read. Is it Kindle Limited, audiobook, paper book, am I tandem reading? So that'll be something to see nicely together. Books by genre. So if I've done fantasy, romantasy, horror, I can then just stack them, and my aim is to just colour in a book based upon that stack, or write the name down. Just something to do colourful, isn't it? And then here we've got the kind of tags: so dark romance, young adult, romance, romantasy, fantasy, fiction, dark academia, thriller, mystery, self-help or other. I then decided to do a author titles challenge A to Z. I have never done one of these challenges before, and I like the idea of them. And I know I've written either author or the title. So for example, On the Wings of Blood, which I read in January, begins with O, but of course it's by Briar Bolin, so I could do B, but it's either one or the other, and once I put it down I can't change my mind. So that will make it a little bit more a challenge as I go along. We then have is it a bingo, box bingo, book bingo, something like that. And I really had fun setting this up. So I made this kind of individual to myself. And if you want this particular book bingo, let me know, and I'll put a link on my website and you can download it for free. In fact, I think I will do that by the time this comes out, so you can just print it out. I'll do a plain one as well. So if you want to do what I'm planning on doing, you can, so it's quite easy. So instead of having to like colour in here to make sure I finished in the book bingo, I decided I wanted to either write the name of the book or print out in the square a picture of the book, just to kind of make it fun, so I can see exactly what book correlates to the kind of book bingo side. So we have starting off here at the top, we have a book published this year, Love Triangle, Mafia Romance, a book where he, she or they hates the other, listen to an audiobook, or did you tick that one off? Saw in Book Talk, many books have got on Book Talk. She Falls First, a book with a pretty cover, finish a full series, a book read in one day, reread a book, I actually did this already, reread a book, a photo of your current read and drink, something free so you can choose which one you like, read a dark romantasy, a 400 plus page book. I think I've managed that, but the rule will be that I can only do one or the other. So for example, one of the books, if I've read, is over 400 pages, but it also matches with finishing a full series. I can't pick the same thing, I have to do one or the other. And once I put a book down, I can't change my mind and like flip between them. A book with a multiple point of view, again, that's something that I've already done. A book with a blind date, a book with a map, a book that starts a series, a spicy fantasy book, standalone book, He Falls First, a debut novel, a book on your TBR, and read a sequel. So for example, by Bloodwing Academy, on the, what was it called? Yeah, On the Wings of Blood, that was starting a series. It was also He Falls First. It was also a book with a map, multiple POV, over 400 pages, and then a book of whatever the second book was. I did read it in a day. So like, there's so many variations you can do this, but to make it harder on yourself, you'll have to pick one book or the other. So just for example, pick one book, and then you'll have to then, for example, if you've not read a 400 page book by the end of the year, then that means you're out basically. Like, you can give yourself points, you can then create it to be something where when you receive points, certain points mean that you can save physical money and then go buy yourself another book. It's fun. However you want to do it, it's still fun. So this is my new series tracker that I created, and I think I love this better. I just find it so much more easy to look at. So once I fill up all this space, I could go back and then finish the series tracker and just do the same there. So again, it's not going to be a waste of space. So far we have the Empyrean series, Akatar, the Carvel series, Upon a Broken Heart. These are books I've already got. Some I've started, some I haven't, so we'll go through them. And then the Sinners Anonymous, Crowns of Naxia, Fate and Alchemy, Wicked Games, The Cursed Kingdom, Diebound, Beast of the Briar, Plated Prisoner, Alchemy of Secrets, Blood and Ash, Maid, and then we've got Zodiac Academy, Wolf King, and The Female. So a lot of these I've already started or want to start, like the Caraval I haven't started, but I will add as I go along. And I've left like blank spaces on purpose, because if I've got a small series, I could just put one in there. If I've got just a 2-book series, I could just put it in there. For example, like Phantasma and the other name, Enchantra, something like that. So again, I've left myself more than 3 pages, because I know I've got a lot of series that I'm tracking. And then this is my new version of the anticipated 2026 releases, and I like this in a format of just writing. So I think the other pages I'm going to add pictures, and these ones I'm just going to write it down. So if I find, let's say I'm searching online, or a friend mentions it, or I see it on Book Talk, and it's like, oh, it's going to be like book 3 of On Wings of Blood is starting March 10th, so I can just quickly jot down March 10th, so I know that I'm not going to miss out, and then I can add pictures later. Also, I've done the same for audiobook releases. I haven't made it specific to months, because I just was like, it's not very often that I'm wanting to listen to an audiobook that combines with a book, and usually they come separate, they're never really at the same time. So that'll be something that, if for example, let's say we get another book from Rebecca Yarrow in terms of the Onyx Storm, we get another book, but then I know that the graphic audiobook will be coming out, I'll just put that there with the date rather than be specific to months, because I don't think there'll be as many releases. And then this is the kind of book matrix. This is something that I saw on Jashi Corin's YouTube channel. I've loved the idea of it. It's kind of like fighting to the bottle at the end. I put it in here because I wasn't sure whether to add it at the end. Will I be at the end? Will I finish all the pages? Not sure. So I've left a page, and then I decided that it wasn't going to be enough, so I then left a double page spread. If for example I only need the 2, I will change this into something else, a fun game, a challenge, whatever. Then this is I've got 2 book clubs. One is pretty much the same book club, one on Fable and then one on Facebook, and it's just very limited. But the one on Fable I prefer more, because anybody can join, you can read at your own pace. It's not often that we have like a specific book to read, but let's say me and a friend are reading a book, we can go there and comment and whatnot. So if you do want to join, I will leave the link below. It's just My Creative Chronic Life book club over on Fable, and I like the idea of it. And maybe if we get more people joining and being part of the book community, then we can specifically make it a month by month book pick. And then here I'm part of a book club where it's a gifting book club, not necessarily focused on reading. It's more about, I have a birthday in January, so everybody in the group then picks off my Amazon wish list and purchases items on there from a series ranging of a certain amount, and then it's all given to me. So that's for me for January, for example. Then let's say February is somebody else's, the remaining people then do the same. But on the days where on the months where there's no birthdays, we actually do like a book gift club. So we get partnered with the people in the book club, and then what we end up doing is gifting off not their Amazon wish list, but their own kind of bookish theme. So let's say I like, I don't know, what's the word? Let's say I love pandas, and then somebody finds me a panda cup or a panda keychain. It doesn't have to be bookish related, but we pick certain themes. So like food category, book category, we pick personal category, sweets or snacks, so that then with the partner that you're with, we then decide, like, we choose a certain amount, anything from £5 and above. So let's say it's a £5 one, and I decide that I found a book for £4.99, I'm going to gift them that book. But let's say they found £5 worth of sweets for me, and they'll gift me that, and it's done separately outside of Amazon usually. So you pack it up, you can add a card, you can add notes, you can wrap it up, you make it fun, and I love that. And then, for example, like when it comes around to like Christmas time or other, you know, whether it's just a general month, we can then make it fun to where it's specific themes, i.e. bookish themes. So this is what I wanted to write down, just because it will be nice to track not specifically what I got, but like A, what I give to other people, B, what you receive back, C, what you get in the gift swaps, who you had. And I've left a double page spread because I think that's enough, because we've got 12 months. We don't usually do December, or we do December, I can't remember now. So I think there's like a couple of months where we don't have the birthday Amazon swaps, like, you know, wish list. So I think it's a great way, and what it means is you get a lot of your items all in one go. So if you've been looking forward to purchasing 3-4 books, you can then have them 3-4 books all together, so like a series or something. Sometimes I've had like a Kindle, not a Kindle, like one of them pop sockets. Sometimes I've got books, other times I've had audio books, other times I've had Kindle books, and like it's series that I want to buy but I've not yet bought yet, but I don't really want yet. So that's what my list is usually like now at the moment I've got a book edition on there. My Amazon wish list is actually open, so like I always leave the link below as well, because I've had recommendations previously of people saying, please can you share, I want to purchase this. And if it's like related to YouTube or whatnot, I don't mind. I mean, if you don't mind, I don't mind. There's never anything that's so expensive on there anyway. It's just like small items, and it's really nice because I've had people support me through my colouring journey, bought me like colouring books, so then I can then come back on and share on the channel. So it's a nice little kind of way to them to give back, but me also to give back to them. And then when I do giveaways and things like that as well. So yeah, so that's our Wrapped in Words book club. And then this is just a generic book tracker, what book I've read, you know, when did I start, genre, rating, and I've left, I think it was 3 pages, yeah. And then this brings us to the end of pretty much all of the ins and outs of everything, but I've left us 2 entire pages, just in case I want to go back and add anything else. And I know sometimes like challenges start mid-year, or you decide you want to need an extra space, so I didn't want to leave myself short and then have to start in the middle of the month. So I think that's pretty reasonable. So that takes us to the end of all of the trackers, the systems, everything that kind of goes in there. So now we will get into January's. I didn't want to do a separate video but I think for this instance it's just better to get it in this video. So this is my monthly setup for January 2026, and I decided to decorate this off camera only because I was in the mood. It was just one of them gloomy days, and I thought, let me just do it just to figure out sizing, spacing, what I wanted to do, and I love it. This is a kit. I think it was a Advent stationery unboxing from Right Designs, and I received it in there, and this is what started me off on the kind of theme as such with the secret garden. So I decided that I wanted to use this kit to decorate the monthly page. So initially this will be where I just track when I start a book, when I finish it. If it's an audio book, we'll do a little key somewhere maybe, and this is meant to be for when if I've got any anticipated reads, so they're right there in the forefront of my mind. So I know that if, for example, there's a book being released, I don't know, the 21st, I then really want to get a book finished so I can then read that anticipated book if I want to, and if I am purchasing it. So that's why I wanted to leave that space there. And then here is just the books that I've read. Now I might set myself up for failure in terms of space because I've already read 3 books so far. So if I was to do teeny tiny book covers, then it might work. but again, I'm not really so fussed. So we will just decide later if that will be something that I will need to change in the rest of the months. The alternative is that if I do run out of space, I can just make an extra page. But again, I'm not sure until I start reading, and I don't think in the big scheme of things, it's either I can write the books down that I've read or do the pictures. I do like the idea of pictures because it's fun to look at, but again, because I'll be doing like a page or a double page spread for each review of the book, depending on how I enjoy the book, well then there'll be a picture anyway, so I don't think it'll make a difference. And I just think I really love how it turned out, just all the little elements, how it came together, how easy it was. I did make a couple of mistakes on the first go, but I don't think you can actually see it on camera. If you can, let me know what you think it is. The kind of January foiled element, I just wanted to add in, it's from Stick with Kate, just to add in that gold throughout the theme. That's not necessarily mean that I will do that every single month, but I think for January especially, I think it'll be nice to be able to do that. Now, I do have a dilemma in terms of filming this kind of double page or filming the reviews. I would love to be able to do them on camera. The issue is that I don't know if I want to be doing it off camera and then just coming back on and sharing. The other thing as well is when I do the reviews, I want to be able to do like spoilers and things like that. So if I'm either decorating the pages with you guys but not initially writing the review, or if you are going to read the review with me, then maybe I'll do a non-spoiler review. But then that's a bit frustrating because this is a physical book that I want to keep online and try my best not to, share any spoilers or anything like that. So we'll see. I really love how this entire book came out. As you can see, we've got a good chunk of pages left, and I just feel like that should keep me going. I mean, it depends on how I might do a count through because I'll number the pages, but depending on how much I read, if I do a single spread or a double spread. But I'm hoping this takes me to the end of the year. But if it doesn't, I decided that whatever the situation will be, let's say if I need another notebook and I'm already done by, let's say, middle of the year, I will purchase another one, but I will use that one whenever I end the year. I will then, let's say it's the middle of the book, I will then set up my 2027 reading journal and go that way. That does mean, unfortunately, that I will never be able to probably start like a fresh book. Or alternative would be to buy a smaller notebook and then just continue to do the reviews in that, and then when I'm done, it's not going to feel like so much of a waste because I may only have a few pages left. So maybe we'll see. It's too early to decide, isn't it, really? But in hindsight, I'm glad I've used this book, and I know that I loved it when I purchased it, and the fact that I'm already looking so forward to getting stuck in. I don't think I will be doing a kind of initial setup in this video, i.e. like choosing the pixel colors and things like that, because I think this has been a long enough video already. I'll do that in a separate video. You might find it across social media. It could be, YouTube, it could be YouTube Shorts, or it could just be little snippets that I film throughout, maybe filling in the days and things like that. I haven't quite decided. And then I know one thing that I have decided is that when I come back at the end of the month, either to set up the next month, I will then go in and talk about the books, the reviews, and all of the other things. So if you'd like them to be in one video, let me know in the comments below. If you'd like them to be separate videos, so you want the reviews to be separate, you'd like the initial talk through chats, how many books, how many pages, all of that thing, then let me know. And if you want it to be where I do separate videos, so that'll mean 3 videos per month in terms of reading journals, then let me know too. I don't mind. We will see how things get on. I have decided though, if I fall back or fall behind on any of the filming, I will wait, hold off, and still film. So fingers crossed. I mean, we're already in the middle of January now. This will be going out in a couple of days time once I've edited it, and then that will mean that we will be on track possibly next week to fill out, and then they come back at the end. So this is where I'm already struggling, because if I've read 3 to 4 books, that's 3 to 4 reviews that I will write. I think I may, depending on the time, I may just do the reviews off camera and then come back and talk about them for January, and then we will try and come up with a routine moving forward. Yeah, I think that's probably what we'll do. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this flip through chat, all of the other things like that. Was anything here that you like, that you would like as a free printable or something like that, let me know, because I'm sure I can. It's not gonna, all of this stuff I already decorated and either done it myself, purchased, have a commercial license for, and or I've designed myself, so I can always put them in a PDF for you to be able to download. Any kind of freebies and things like that on my website are in the grab and go section, so you can visit www.mycreativechroniclife.co.uk and you can just flip through the sections. I share blog posts, email issues, short stories, videos, everything, freebies, what I use at the moment, you know, all of the good stuff. So it's a nice place to go and have a little bit of time out and connect, and you can always reach out to me there. And if you want to become a email issue subscriber, you can do that on the first page too. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment box below, and of course I will be crossing my fingers to be back with you possibly in a couple of weeks time. All we can do is cross our fingers. I always try my best. Please know that if you're looking forward to a video or something like that and I don't happen to come, it's just because health gets in the way and I'm just not able to physically sit for a long period of time to be able to do what I need to do. And with somebody who's got chronic illness, it's difficult. I've got autoimmune conditions, medication, cold weather doesn't help. Lighting is a big thing at the moment because, of course, in the UK we have daylight savings, so timing is a big thing in terms of being able to film in the light. So I hope you don't mind if some things are a little delayed. Thank you for always being so patient, and I always appreciate you all. And if you have a reading journal challenge, or you think I've missed something that's really important and you'd like me to add it, let me know, because I've still got a couple of pages. And if you have any other suggestions, again, let me know in the comment box below. Well, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, bye bye.